Alright, hello everybody and welcome to another Trying to Fix video. And this time what we have for you is two AR drone 2.0 Parrot versions of these drones. Got them both from a person on Craigslist who was selling the pair. Said one of them should work okay, but he can't get it to connect to the app correctly. And the other one says it's for parts, mainly for parts because it's got a broken camera and propeller is what it said. I don't know the extent of what is broken on it, but I did open it up a little bit and show you. Right now I got one box upside down just so I could turn it around easy to open them. So I'll show you what these came with. They're much larger than I was anticipating. So I got them spread out on the couch right now. Try to get them both in frame. I bought the pair for $25. Not that they're expensive drones. I think they're like, you can get them used for like 50 bucks a piece, but I figured two for 25 and something to try to fix would be just kind of fun to do. So let's see what we have here. We've got the outer shield. I'll be honest, I've never owned a drone before, so I've not used one of these. So I'm not sure all the functionality of what they're supposed to do and how to tell what is working and isn't. But this is the shield. This, I believe, is the broken one. Yeah, so you can see from this, one of the arms is detached. I do wonder if that's the only thing that's broken, if I could get this precisely into the same spot and put some filler or glue or something to hold this in there. I'm not sure that would work or not. It also does have this other piece. I believe once you put the battery on, this goes over top of the battery, but there's other motors and stuff inside here that are clearly broken from somewhere. And I don't know. I thought that the board was broken, but it's just loose inside here. So I don't really quite know how broken this is, or if this even has any chance of being repaired, this particular one. But it's kind of nice because I have parts for the other one potentially if needed. So, got a new outer shield, so let's get this one out of the way to the side, pull this one into frame. This is the one that supposedly is working, but it won't connect to the app. Again, it's got the outer shield, it's got the functional, this guy, everything is connected on here, the cover for it, and what's in here? Oh, adapters for different countries. One of those, a different country adapter as well. And it did come with two batteries. I had them charging, so they're across the room right now, but it did come with two batteries, one for each one and a charger for each one. So batteries are charged. I tried to plug this guy in yesterday, and the lights all turned red, and then each propeller did a little mini spin, which it says like the initialization phase of it, and then nothing happened after that. And I also could not get this thing to connect to the app, which needs to be connected to Wi-Fi. But that's where we're going to start. Right here, right now, I only tried it for like 5 minutes, and then I said, let's hold off until I get to this. So let's see what we can do with this thing now. Let me get the batteries and get into a better position with just this one drone. All right, so here we are, just set up at my workstation. I've got two different devices over here. I've got my Android phone and I've got a tablet that I'm downloading the software onto as well. Mainly because when I hooked up the software on my Android phone yesterday, what it says is this was built for an older version of Android. Look for an updated version, but it's the newest version that's out there. So I'm hoping that there's not a problem that it won't work, and that's what we're running into. But what I've read in the instruction manual, it says that when I put the battery in, the light should all turn red. Each of these things should spin a little bit for a calibration. It somehow checks to see that it's level, and then it should turn green. And then your Wi-Fi is on. You have to connect it to a Wi-Fi network and then launch the app. I'm not even getting a Wi-Fi network shown, so I don't think it's going to be an app issue. I think I need to get past that step first. But as I said, here's the two batteries and chargers, and I got both these charged up. It is interesting to see that these have both a connection. I don't know if you can see this. This is a USB connection, and this is the battery connection. I'm not sure what the USB connection's for exactly. So there we go. I plugged the battery in, and you can see that the lights turned red. I'm not going to do anything else yet. There's the little bloop, 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 bloop. Oh, wait. Oh, it flashed green for a second, and then it stopped. It did flash green, I saw it. Now let me see if there is a Wi-Fi network that it can detect. Because the lights are not green, and I believe it's supposed to stay green. I do not see a Wi-Fi network. So let's do what somebody said was, something I read said to do a reset on this, which there's a reset hole down in here. So let's try to do a reset on this. All right, got me a skewer. Okay, hit the reset button. I'm assuming it's one of those hold it down for 10 seconds or so things. Okay, so that didn't seem to do anything. Let's try that again. Let me unplug it, actually. Press the reset button and plug the battery in. See, there's a green light and then it goes off. It's almost like it's not recognizing the fact that the reset button is held down either. And so I continued trying this for a while, just different sequences of plugging in the battery, removing the battery, turning it upside down, turning it, just different ways to see if I would get any different behavior. But I always got this drone to just kind of seem to get past that initialization phase, and then it would flash green, flash red, and then turn off, and almost like it was a reboot. So I decided I'm going to use the broken drone and use it to start seeing if I can see if it acts any differently. See if this has different behavior. Even though it's broken, I understand that, it's not going to work right because the propeller's broken, but we can see if the startup sequence is different. So let's... Okay, so we have, same with those red lights came on. Red lights again, because you can't see them on my hand. This one does not even, whoa. Whatever. There it goes. Did something. Red. So this isn't turning green, but the lights are still on. What is there a network that I can connect to? I'm searching for a network now. AR drone. So this one has a working network, but not the other one. Oh, now it just turned off. Oh, no. I'm going to connect to the AR drone. It just went away. Hold on, the drone network is gone. It's back. Connect to it quickly. Checking the quality. Keep Wi-Fi connection. So I'm connected to it. Let's go to the software. I think it just reconnected actually. So it looks like it's going through a boot up problem, probably because it's not getting to the initialization phase because something is not right with it. But let's see what happens when I go into the app. I gotta remember what the app is called. Yeah, something just keeps this thing in a boot loop here. AR Free Flight. We're gonna go to that. So rate it, I can't rate it. AR drone update, Wi-Fi, I'm not connected. So I'm wondering if I can get a AR drone again. Let's connect really quick. See if I can run an update with it maybe. Your AR drone is up to date. So it connected to this drone. Realized it's up to date. Let's pilot it. To land, press the landing button once. Well, I think it just disconnected again. Yeah, I'm back onto my main house network. So, okay. So what I'm thinking is this drone, since it's broken, obviously, it's got some breakage to it, it's having issues initializing. There's also parts to it that exist in other places that I don't even know what they're to. I don't know what this is that just fell out of this. It looks like a magnet. I don't know if it's just a magnet to keep something closed or what this is for. But what I am gathering is the Wi-Fi chip that's in this one possibly, I wonder if I could swap somehow the main brains from this into this one that is structurally fine. I just don't know how complicated this is when I take this thing apart to try to mess with that. So, I guess we have to start examining. Or what is it exactly that this thing is saying, hey, I won't initialize right now? Is it saying that, you know, because it knows that this arm is broken? Is there a sensor on the inside? It'd be interesting to know what these pieces exactly are to, because looking at this drone, oh, I guess it's got an open board. Oh, it doesn't have, hold on, this is open. And let me zoom in here. This is disconnected. There is a chip that is disconnected. I think on this one it's closed. Yeah, so there's a panel. Oops. There's a panel on this one as I'm zoomed in that's closed. This one's open. Let me try to reconnect that and see if that maybe gets it past. There we go. Got it. Okay, I got that in. I don't know if anything connects over here. Let's turn this back over with the camera now in. I have no idea what these pieces are for. Oh, this is, okay. This is definitely, I look at this. Here, probably a speaker. There you go. This is the same as this, so probably a speaker of some type. And that is what populates onto this connection piece that I said was empty. So let's see if we can pop that back in. I think it's just a press fit connector. Yeah, and they go right in there. Okay, yep, that makes sense. It looks like there's supposed to be something that sits on top of it and actually clips this down. Let's see if I can zoom in to see a little bit better. That's not there because right now it is really, really, really loose. So I don't think that's in there. I'm going to be making a connection. Not that I know if this thing needs to make a connection. Actually, let me look at the other part of the board. Let me just take it out because, oh yeah, there's a the same style connector. We can zoom in there. Same style connector on this side of the connector, and it's got a little retaining clip that goes over top of it. I'm assuming, does it just pop up or pops out? I know you can't really see, but yeah, it pulls back. It pulls down this way, and that is missing because it makes a good press fit connection. So here's the deal. I don't know if this is important or not. I don't know if I could just like tape it down just for testing purposes, because I'm looking in the box right now, because that could make it hard if I swap these boards and it's not there and it's not easy to swap that connector piece off of. It might make it very difficult to try to fly with it. I'm not really sure, but we can test. Well, I don't see the connector itself in the box. I do see the plate for it that goes over it. So we can always put that back on and make it look cooler. But for now, I think what I'll do is I'll just put this in, push this in, and not knowing what that's for, and maybe it's only speakers, maybe just popping a piece of tape over this will be enough to give it a connection for testing. I don't know, so that's kind of the part of the problem, is I don't know if this should or should not work. And this is just for testing. It's just a piece of Scotch tape. If this should or should not work with that not connected, your guys is as good as mine. So let's try that. Let's just turn it back over, put the battery back in, and see if anything different happens. Turn. It now does the exact same thing as that one does. It turned green, and then it turned off. Hold on. And it definitely does not have... Oh no, AR drone. Here we go. The Wi-Fi network's on now. As long as this doesn't reset itself again. I'm logging into the app. It's connected. Let's go with the AR drone software. Update, it says it's up to date. Let's go piloting. Absolute control. AR drone 2.0. Activate absolute control. Mode for easy control. Okay. Get past this loading screen. It's on a loading screen. It says loading in the corner. AR drone update. Your AR drone is up to date. Piloting. There we go. Flip. Only AR drone 2.0. Double tap on the screen to flip as you fly. Okay, this one. So okay. Look. I got a picture. It's a camera. I'm afraid. Pick watchdog emergency. It says there's 0% battery. It clearly is the camera, though. Wait, take off. Rescue. Random shake. Overbalance. Okay, nothing is doing anything. But it's here. I'm recording now. I mean, what? I don't know what the emergency is. Yeah, so I can clearly see. Where's the camera at? Oh, it's the camera in front. So this is the camera's looking frontwards like this. I don't know why it says there's 0% battery. Oh, USB record. So that must be for recording directly on the USB. Okay. I want to do something to make this thing. I want to do something to make this thing spin. It's on shape 4. I want to pick watchdog emergency. Pick watchdog emergency. Oh, and there's the underneath camera. So you got 2 different camera modes on it. That's pretty cool. But I still can't make this. I can't make this do anything. And that's, that's fine that I can't really make this thing do anything. It's not necessarily something I want to go flying with when it's got a broken wing. I just wanted to see if it could be responsive at all. But that does kind of prove that I probably can switch this main board into that one. I would be curious to know why that one is just not sending out a Wi-Fi signal, and I would love to get that fixed without having to do some board swaps. I don't know if any of these controllers are married to the boards. I have no idea. I also still have to figure out what this one is for. So this is one of the, what looks like, let me just disconnect. What looks like the same controller mechanisms that go here. They look like the same ones. I don't know if there's an extra one because, all 4 of these are connected. You saw it did the little spin of all 4 of these and it gave the okay. So maybe it's just, it's a spare? I have no idea. But I think the next thing to do is start taking screws out of here and remove this board. I am curious because I don't know what this is. Again, I don't know what this piece does. And it could be some sensors. It could be speakers. So I'm not 100% certain, so therefore I don't know if this is what my problem is on why it won't do anything. And again, I'm going to have... you know what? So something else to note, though, this board is actually a separate piece than this board. And maybe the Wi-Fi controller... This board looks like it's pretty low tech. There's not much on there. I would bet the Wi-Fi controller is on this board. And if I can just remove this board, there's a connection up. Push pin connection here. I could probably only swap this one board to the other drone and not worry about that connector. Maybe. Let's start working on taking this thing apart and see what happens. Okay, so there's that one board that I said they separated. This, let's see. Hold on. The microchip PIC24H1. I'm trying to figure out if this chip here would have anything to do with the Wi-Fi, or if I can, if I'm either one of these, or if I'm going to be able to get away with swapping this because it's missing the proper clip, mounting clip. Okay, so there's that. There's a bunch of glue here, some cold solder joints on here I see. There is another 2 connectors down here. I'm trying to figure out how I can go about getting access to them, because it doesn't want to easily flip. Let me have access to. Okay, the cold solder joints are the power, so I'm going to have to desolder power, it looks like. This one of these just looks like it pulls. There we go. One's out. Can't tell. Oh, yep, this one just wiggles out too. Hard to get to, but they just wiggle out. And then the only thing is, there we go. The only thing left is power and ground right here that I'll have to desolder. Let's make sure that they're properly marked.
So a lot of things have really happened since that last clip you saw, and the clip that's kind of playing in the background now, and I figure I'm just going to voice over what happened because it wasn't great video footage, but it did actually get me to start testing some things in a different way. That got me a little bit of progress. So what I was going to do was try to swap out the main board, the bigger board, which turns out to be like the main brains of the operation in these drones, because I thought that was feeding the Wi-Fi network, and get that swapped over into the non-physically broken drone. I was trying to do that, and I couldn't figure out quite how to get the big board out of the broken drone because I thought you had to desolder a bunch of things, including the USB connector. I didn't realize at the time I could just shove it through the back end. But long story short, that was what I was attempting to do. But before I went through and desoldering like I thought I was going to, I wanted to take that little board, which is actually, turns out, the navigation board, the one that's separate that has the broken clip on it. I wanted to swap the one with the broken clip for the one with the good clip, so that the broken drone that had the broken arm would now have the one with the good clip, and I could hook maybe that thing that I kept calling a speaker. It turns out it's a ground proximity sensor that goes to the navigation board, so I could hook that up so we'd have at least one drone that had both the functional boards in them, and see if that changed anything with the way the behavior of the drone was. So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually putting both of the good boards into the broken drone, because at the time that was the easiest thing I could do to test without thinking I had to desolder things. And then this happened.
We have green. We have solid green. Hold on, let's see what networks we got. We have the drone network, the one that started with the 15, the one I was connecting to earlier. These are green. And they're staying green, and I'm on. It's piloting. I have a percentage on the battery. I don't know if you can see that. I don't have a watchdog alert. I'm gonna hit this rescue button and just. Please, stop! Oh God, I didn't think it was gonna. Progress. Whoa. I was not expecting insanity to just start happening. I thought it literally says, I don't know if you can see the screen on the controls, it says random shake and overbalance on the rescue mode, and cut out emergency. I think it's not happy anymore, that's for sure. I still have the cameras and stuff are still there. So I don't know if any of this stuff does anything. Let me reboot this thing. I mean, I'm still connected. It must have cut itself out completely though. If I hold this tighter, maybe. This one didn't do anything anymore. I don't know if it's because it's broken. Well, let's try something. But we're getting somewhere now. Okay, so this one still works. Let's see what happens. So I guess it doesn't do anything. I bet you have to hit the takeoff button for it to go up. I don't know enough about these yet. Clearly we're getting commands and signals and everything through. So the positive that I've just gotten out of this is, even though this is the physically broken one, the combination of boards that we now have in here seem to be the appropriate working combination of boards. Now is the question of, am I able to physically fix in some way, shape, or form this piece, or swap this piece for one off of the other one? Or do I have to go down the route of the desolder of this board and transplant it over to the other drone, which I'm pretty sure is what I'm going to have to do. That's probably the safest and easiest thing to do. I am just a little concerned though, because as I said, I'm looking at the pieces. It looks like, it looks like the propellers, they're labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4. I bet you these things break on a regular frequency, that there's probably an easy way to disconnect them. I could be wrong on that. Definitely looks like there's slits. I could take the whole thing out, it looks like. But it's still connected to this board. I'm trying to figure out how many wires are in here, because the biggest concern I have is whatever I disconnect, this connection header right here will no longer be connected because I have to physically separate it. Trying to see if I could literally just get one of these arms out, replace the arm back in. I don't know how these things work and separate, but it might be worth a shot to experiment on this one. There are slits in the sides of these, in the sides of the styrofoam, where it looks like they set the wings into there. If I do something like that. Ooh, yeah, there we go, there we go. So how are all these connected? And are these part of which headers? Can I just swap it into this body?
And again, for the sake of the video at this point, some more voiceover. So what I ended up deciding was I could actually transplant the entire cross-member brace that had the 4 propellers on it from one body to the other without having to remove that board and quote-unquote desolder that board, which I still at this point think I need to do. So I go through this next bit and just actually remove the propellers from the broken drone, with the physically broken drone, remove those, put them to the side, disconnect the other ones from the other drone, the physically functional propellers, and move them into the original broken drone's body and start hooking everything back up.
All right, a couple screws are in. I have transplanted the old body. I'm gonna stick these back down, or transplanted the working body into the working non-broken wings into the physically damaged body, because the body itself was fine, but that way I didn't have to remove and place the boards, which required a lot more soldering of some things that would be very difficult to get to for this connector, which I think is part of the USB, but I'm not really sure. But this way we now have all the functional parts on one board. And it is, I don't know what this is though. It's like a magnet top. But this is potentially the moment of truth.
And sadly, that didn't work. But what it turns out is after a little bit of troubleshooting, one of the connectors that I had connected back in had come loose when I was screwing the board back down. So I did some troubleshooting, took the boards back out, reconnected the connector, and then got it back to functional working state.
We got lights. Nice and slow. Turn green, turn green. We have green lights. We have a drone network. We have connected to a drone network. We are going to go into piloting. Yep, camera's on. We can switch to the under view camera. We have information. What if I just hit the takeoff button? What does it do? This is crazy. Yes, I'm rocking Homer slippers. I don't know what's going to happen to it if I let it go. I'm pretty sure I should be doing this outside. It definitely works though. How do I stop it? That was just pure insanity. Trying to hold the truck in my attic, not knowing what it's going to do. But wow. But it's working. It is working. I need to put pieces on it and then potentially take it outside. Not today because it's nighttime, but stay tuned for some more footage of seeing if this thing flies outside. Alright, so Future Jeff here. You're about to watch me go down the process of removing the full propeller assemblies from the drones and swapping them, and that was to avoid trying to remove this board that I wanted to swap, having to desolder not only the power wires, but the wires that go up to this connection right here, that at first I was not really sure what the connection is for, because there's a connection piece on this side of it as well, but it looks like it also goes to the USB, so it's probably just two different ways to connect to that. But what I wanted to show was, this thing is meant to be modular, and what I didn't realize at the time, because I still had the battery in the holder over here, that all this is going up to these wires, and I could just easily remove the board without having done the swap that I did, so I could use the same assembly shell here by just routing these wires up through, and it's kind of a tight fit. I'm trying to actually see if it'll actually come out very easily, but routing, here we go, I think I got it. At least I got at least one of them. There we go, I got one of them through. Oh, man, actually, it doesn't look like this USB connector wants to squeeze out the hole, but it is theoretically possible to actually do this without swapping the assemblies like I did. So I just wanted to point that out. You're going to watch me do the whole assembly swap right now, but you don't have to do that. You can actually take these boards out. They sell replacement boards as well, just in case. And apparently it is a common thing for Wi-Fi to go out and have to replace these boards for it. And just to show real quick, I was able to finagle this thing out of the housing without breaking anything. It's just a tight fit, but it does come out. So I could have done that instead. All right, here we are for the inaugural test flight of this thing. We're going to see if it works, and the kids are super excited. All right, found the drone network. We're connecting to it now. We'll get this thing lifted off, hopefully.
When it's done, it's going to be our turn to drive.
Be forward. All right, Jack. We're going to check this out. So basically, well, I don't know if we haven't done anything yet. Oh, falling down. All right. We go to piloting, and let's see how this thing works. So it's got a camera. So it looks at the camera, and it's got a camera underneath. But right now you can't see it because it's underneath that cement. Watch out, watch out. Come here. Let's see. You guys ready? Yeah. Hit that. Oh, don't hit it once. Hit it once. Hit it once. Wait.
Can I drive it?
We gotta figure out. That's up and down. Oh, look at that. We can move it up and down. And then.
So at the end of the day, this thing actually worked wonderfully. It was doing the swap, made this thing work. It was a lot of fun. It's clearly a cheap drone. I'll show some footage, throw it up there right now, of the actual camera quality of this thing, which is very subpar. So you're not going to be using this thing to do video shoots. This thing is more of a toy, a hobby, just for something fun to do. The kids obviously love it and have a great time with it, as you can see. They were begging me to take it out again the next day, which we did. And I will tell you, funny enough, my oldest got a little carried away and slammed it into the ground a couple times, and it actually broke the drone already right after we fixed it. But that's kind of the joy of having the two, because what he broke, I was able to scavenge the parts still from the other drone. I actually had to do the whole swap back because the body is what broke, and so I actually swapped it back by doing the board the correct way. And everything is now functional yet again, with still some spare parts in there. But long story short, this was just I've never messed with one of these drones before. I didn't know much about them, and I now have a more of an understanding of how they are. I wish I could have troubleshot the board itself to find out why the Wi-Fi wasn't working. Probably could still do that, and maybe one day I will, but as of now, it's not even worth it. The parts are so cheap for these things because they're meant to be modular and like things break on them all the time. They're not worth the fix to most people, but I'm going to keep it around, and maybe one of these days I will dig into it and find out. One of the other reasons is the propellers are physically broken that I have the other set of, and there's no real point to getting a Wi-Fi board working if I have a functional drone right now, because I can't really use it with the broken propellers. So maybe if the Wi-Fi board goes out on this other one, I will dig into them a little further. I don't know. But either way, I'm pretty happy with this. I think it was a little fun toy that the kids are going to love. And even if it, we crash it again tomorrow and it breaks, no big deal. It was more along for the journey of understanding how these things work and seeing if I could get it fixed. And I did. All right, guys. So thanks for watching yet another Fix It video. And stay tuned for the next one.
But I'll tell you what the weather's like right now. The weather, it's rainy right now. After you get your umbrella and do this, and wear one sweater sleeve, you climb a tree and fall down and have to go to the doctor forever.